Hi guys, welcome to my tarot channel. Happy holidays to those who are celebrating. Please check for timestamps below so you can hop directly to the reading for Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces. There will also be a collective message at the end for all of you, so please check that out as well. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Happy to have you. Please read the dialogue box below so you can find out a little bit more about my readings and how I do this and your personal responsibility and accountability. Other than that, let's hop in. Happy holidays and enjoy your tarot readings. All right, Gemini gang, what's up? Let's see what the tarot wants to tell you for the next few coming weeks. Nine of Cups, great way to start. Let's see. All right, those kind of came out in pairs. Perfect for a Gemini reading. Let's see. There are two sets, I should say. So Nine of Cups to the Three of Pentacles to the Knight of Wands. This is somebody who's excited to build with you, someone who shares your enthusiasm for some sort of common task or goal or project that you want to work on. Something that you've maybe been manifesting or dreaming about for a while, thinking about, having some sort of emotional response when you sort of envision what this would look like. It feels like your emotions are invested in this, like it's something you want to make real. Three of Pentacles is about rolling up your sleeves and getting it done. And frequently with the Three of Pentacles, there's a team dynamic involved. So a team can be two people, or it could be something at work, you know, friends, colleagues, family, whatever it is. Some of you may quite literally be working on like house repairs or helping your siblings with something. But the Knight of Wands says it's something that you enjoy. And like, I always look at the way the Knights are facing, what they're facing, who they're interacting with. There's just like this gung-ho. There's like this, go get 'em attitude. And it's very cheerful. It's fun. It's playful. It's enthusiastic. So, it doesn't have to be a work project literally. It could be someone who you want to work on a relationship with. Maybe you've recently connected with someone and you're just really excited and there's lots of passion and flirtation. And I like that the Knight of Wands is sort of being balanced out with the Three of Pentacles, because it's not just like this player hit it and quit it energy. There's this like, no, let's actually like, plant some seeds here and grow some roots so that we have something to build upon, something that's, we can establish and go from there. So loving that energy, whatever it is, Gemini, cheers to you. I hope that makes sense to some of you out there. I don't know if this message is related or not. Let's see. So then you have the World, you have the Page of Cups, and the Three of Swords. So some of you are starting to understand in a deeper, more spiritual sense, ways in which you have self-sabotage in your life, particularly in how you interact with others, very likely romantic, but even in terms of family dynamics. I think there's been some sort of, I don't know if epiphany is too strong a word, but sort of some like zoom out to see the greater picture and understand what you're attracting in your life and why. All this time it really has been a reflection of you and where you're at. So very frequently, if you're meeting up with people and feeling lackluster, a lot of the times that you're thinking about them or judging them, whatever you're disliking, there's something in you that is being triggered and essentially highlighted for you to see. And it's not to say that you're wrong or that you're at fault or that you're broken. It's just showing areas in which you can grow and develop more as like a spiritual being. All that being said, though, I actually do like this message because now it's like you're finally starting to see the full picture. It does sort of feel like an aha moment, like, oh, now I'm starting to see so clearly why that relationship didn't work out. And I mean this in the most empowered way. I think a lot of my Geminis, you're taking full-on accountability and responsibility and looking at yourself and being really analytical about, oh, when my partner said this and it really provoked me, it was because that's something I'm deeply insecure about, but it was easier to project and be like, well, why are they being an a-hole about it? Do you know what I mean? But instead, now you're kind of reversing the role and being like, yeah, like, why does that disturb me? And why do I feel so insecure about that? And where does that come from? Like, you're asking the right questions in terms of kind of like your own emotional well, your own emotional landscape, and therefore you're able to work through like the Three of Swords, which is like, emotional pains and or not just emotional pains of any kind, but heartbreak, disappointment, etc. The way this is paired, though, I don't see this as something coming in. I see this as you sort of, what's a good way of putting it, especially because Venus is in Scorpio, like relationships and looking at them more analytically and being more willing to dig into your past and really kind of hold a light to the dark, gritty stuff that we don't necessarily love looking at and acknowledging. But when we start to do that, we can declutter. We can start to pull things apart and recognize it's not necessarily true. The thing I've been, believing or acting on or whatever it is, it's like you're willing to do the work. And I see you making progress in terms of letting go of things that have been holding you back in any relationship, romantic, platonic, work relationships, friendships, family. There's definitely like okay, like I'm starting to see where I maybe need to focus more on me and practice better self-love. So what's really cool though, I don't know why they came out the way they did. That's tarot. Ultimately, that's up for you and I to interpret, but it doesn't have to mean the same thing. I'm almost thinking that this is a response to this work that you've been doing. And so for every person you meet, not to say it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows, though I will say, loving this message. But it's like you have to take the good with the bad. You're not going to get this unless you have moments like these, right? These kind of like, I don't want to say analytical or critical, because it's actually quite cathartic what you're doing. I mean, yes, it is analytical, and yes, it is self-critical, but not in a way where it's cutting yourself down, not in a way where you're judging yourself and being unkind. It's almost like by offering compassion to yourself, you're starting to realize like, oh, this is an area where I can be happier if I choose to be, if I focus my attention on me and always choosing happiness, right? When you choose happiness, that's going to be mirrored back to you, and you're going to meet people who are in alignment with where you're at. And so that's really what there is. It's like, very holiday season, New Year's, making resolutions. Frequently you have those moments where you look back, right? You look back on the year, you look back on several Christmases ago, you look back on, the last 10 years, whatever it is for you. And you're starting to see more opportunities where you weren't necessarily willing to explore that, I am going to say like emotional territory before. It's like we're reopening a wound to actually do something with it and not just be the victim of it. It actually feels very empowered, Gemini. So I'm hoping you're hearing me in like the best possible way. This doesn't seem like woe is me, pity party, nothing ever works out. That may have very well likely been a past narrative you were telling yourself, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I think you're operating at like a very high vibrational, like the world is my oyster and like I have one life to live and I'm gonna make it the best I can, but I have to make these changes. And really, again, self-respect, valuing yourself, self-love. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? So doing self-work, you're gonna attract people who are interested in that same type of learning to love myself at a higher, better capacity. And like, you guys know this, but like, you're never gonna reach that perfection. You're never going to reach that, like everything is perfect and I'm completely happy and everything in my life is good. But recognizing all the good stuff you have, that's a good stepping stone. Do you know what I mean? Like and what I'm saying that because it's like, it's unrealistic to think that you have to be perfect in order to find a perfect match in a partner, if that's what you're looking for, or a job or a friend or whatever. No, like it's a process, and you're going to meet people who are at a similar stage in their process. And yeah, everything is just, it's being reflected back to you. So things that you love and admire about a person, that's things you probably love and admire about yourself. Or, qualities that you really, swoony, right? Things that you love in a partner or what you look for. That's probably something you're looking to incorporate in your own life. So rather than living it, through another person, manifest it into your own life. Be that person where you can be like, that's so awesome. That's so cool. I so love that. Like, that's so sexy. Make that you. Make that your personality, your traits, your qualities, your habits, your whatever. I love this message, Gemini. I'm hoping you're with me. This actually feels really good. It does. Be kind to yourself. Be gentle. Give yourself time. Don't give yourself a timeline in terms of when the healing needs to take place. I think it's already happening organically and cathartically. And this, I do feel like there's a new connection that comes into your life in any realm where it's showing you just how far you've come. But also it's highlighting for you areas where you want to do the work and where you are excited to discover, like more self-discovery in terms of, again, emotional landscapes and how you want to build your life into the future, whether it involves this person or not. There's something that they're sort of, it's almost like they inspire you to look at a new part of your life or a new part of yourself. The Page of Wands, yeah, like self-exploration. That is so what this is about, Gemini. I love it. All right, so any last messages for Gemini? I know these are short little readings, guys, but down to the wire on My December readings. Life is crazy. Life is busy, but damn, I like this reading. I hope you do too. Something about a doll or a dolly or a childhood toy. I don't know why that's coming through. That's a message for some of you. It may have to do with the name of it or the person who gave it to you, or mending or healing a relationship with, maybe with siblings. I don't know. There's some metaphor or symbolism about a doll. That could be a tattoo you have, a China doll, a Russian doll. I don't know what that is, but for some of you, you like needed to hear that confirmation. The Ace of Swords. Yeah, I love this. Presenting yourself with more confidence and more assuredness, because you're starting to recognize who you are in, presently versus who you have been in the past, and being able to separate those narratives without judgment, just simply understanding like you've evolved. You're not the same person you were. You're not necessarily the person you want to be, but there's an acceptance with where you're at now and moving forward with confidence and owning everything, your flaws as well as, your badass traits and qualities. This is like presenting yourself with a sense of ease and like being more comfortable in your skin. And maybe for some of you, that's very challenging. Maybe some of you feel like I'm never going to be fully comfortable in my skin. I just heard like that's your Chiron talking. For those who are interested in sort of like inner wounding and how that presents in your life, look up where your Chiron is in your birth chart. So astrocharts.com, insert your time, place, date of birth. See where your Chiron is and just Google it. What does that mean? What is my inner wounding? For a lot of you, it might be in Gemini or something to do with like a Mercury placement where how you communicate, how you think, how you perceive things, things you've been told, forced to believe or forced to practice. I don't know. I just get something about like inner wounding in terms of Chiron placements. It's fascinating. It'll send you down a rabbit hole if you're interested in that. And then Queen of Pentacles, yeah, practicing so much self-love, seeing value in yourself. This is kind of the same message. I do think you very likely have a fire sign coming in who is fascinated by you and wanting to discuss major things, philosophies, concepts, beliefs, ethics, all these like kind of heavy philosophical type conversations. But I think you're interested. And I don't know, something about it, it's going to feel new and different and a little bit like, sort of like second guessing it, like, wait a minute, is this person serious? But it's actually like a really good match for you. Just in terms of like a relationship, in terms of, it doesn't have to be sexual or romantic is what I'm saying, though it very likely could be. There's just like this nice back and forth with this person that allows you to be very self-reflective and yeah, self-aware, but not in a way where you're judging it or you're embarrassed or critical. It's like there's this freedom. They kind of like hold this space for you to be self-exploratory. I think I just made that word up, but it goes vice versa. Like love language too, especially being able to say what you want and what you need and what you like and what your kinks are and all that, being able to say it in like an open forum and not feel weird about it or feel like there's going to be a backlash. This person really respects you and they want you to know that. And also, this is all happening in the process where you're learning to respect yourself. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, possibly. Very much Aries, Leo, Sag. I see a lot more fire, but maybe some earth in there as well. Gemini, love this. Let's see. Keep your eyes on the stars and your feet on the ground. Put that next to the Queen of Pentacles, that earthy, keep your feet in the ground. You're allowed to be a masterpiece and a work in progress simultaneously. Yeah, that is what this reading is about, for sure. For sure. And then a keyword for Gemini, something they maybe need to hear. Let's see, realism. To be in reality instead of in fantasy or illusion. Seeing things and feeling things and perceiving things and therefore acting in accordance with things as they really are. To perceive and accept a thing or situation as it is and be prepared to deal with it accordingly and realistically. What is real matters to me. Screenshot that. Keep it in your pocket this week. All right, Gemini. Happy holidays to those who celebrate. Please do check out the collective oracle card reading at the end, which is also time-stamped. Take care, guys. Hello, Virgo gang. Hope you guys are doing well. Let's see what the tarot wants to tell you for the next couple weeks or so. What messages want to come through for Virgo? 9 of Cups. Stop it. Every single other mutable sign I've done before you has gotten that card in the same position. First card. Sagittarius and Gemini both had that too. That's incredible. I love that. Something good is in the air for my mutable signs. Hell yeah. Are you seeing this? The Star, 10 of Cups, 2 of Cups. We'll talk about the 4 of Cups. We'll see what that is. Gosh. Okay, so you have a lot of the same cards that Sagittarius had. And I mean, I gave this deck a good shuffle. I always take time in between readings, but Four of Wands, Virgo. Heck yeah. All right, so let's talk about what all this means rather than me just rattling off random bits of information about other readings to you. So Nine of Cups is ultimate wish fulfillment, right? It's sort of feeling with cups, right? Being in tune with our emotions, but feeling that you've come into sort of some chapter where things are starting to feel balanced, but more so nourishing. The idea of feeling a sense of accomplishment, feeling that like your soul is being recognized. And I know that sounds a little bit like intense, but yeah, it's sort of like this. I don't know, with this Nine of Cups, I think it has a lot to do with gratitude, recognizing that not everything in life is perfect, and it probably never will be, but still finding ways to enjoy yourself, the people around you, your life, etc. And practicing good self-love and good self-care. It feels like something that you've been working on manifesting for a long time is starting to come into you. I'm hearing something like out in the cold. I don't know if that has to do with feeling like an outsider or feeling like you're constantly left out in the cold. I'm not sure what that is, but I actually see you practicing really good boundaries, healthy boundaries, and being able to say no to anything that disturbs your peace or is not in alignment with really your happiness, with what it is that you want to accomplish in this lifetime. I think there's a small surprise coming to you. And I don't just mean in the sense of like, oh, surprise, Christmas presents or whatever, right? Because not everybody celebrates. But I feel like there's something you are blind to or not aware of. But I don't mean that in a ominous way. It's almost like when you open your eyes, something is going to manifest. And I think it has to do with perspective. You're going to be able to see something differently. Something that maybe perhaps you rejected at one point or didn't think you deserved. I think that's what this is. It comes back around again, and the timing of it is perfect because you have room to accept it into your life. Maybe this is a relationship. Maybe this is a job. Maybe, for some reason or another, something didn't work out. And I think in the back of your head, you were always second guessing if you made the right decision by saying no or, putting up boundaries or whatever. But that's sort of like where there's this really cool, like if it's meant to be, it'll be. And this is a circumstance where something was meant to be. So you never missed out on what was meant to be yours. Something that you want and desire. Maybe it comes in a different form. Maybe it's a different person, but maybe it's that relationship that you were manifesting or wanting. Maybe it's a job offer, but maybe now that you're practicing better self-love and better self-care, maybe it comes with a higher paycheck or, a boss that's more in sync with who you are and what you can bring to the table and someone who recognizes that. There's a couple messages, but the one that's coming through strongest right now is, again, something that you passed on or something that didn't materialize in the past comes in and it feels like a gift from the universe. But you've earned it. So there's no reason to, what is an expression? You don't need to be humble. You've done the work. You've earned this, and the universe is showing that you deserve this, essentially. Right into the Star. So again, two cards very much talking about wish fulfillment. And sort of maybe the embracing of a community, feeling a part of something, of a partnership, of a network of people, of your community. That may be a topic that you're interested in pursuing or doing more work as a part of working in groups. I think it comes with getting more comfortable with who you are and with yourself. You're more willing to maybe step out of the comfort zone and do something that, again, months ago, years ago, decades ago, you maybe would have shied away from or again, felt not worthy, like other people were more deserving than you. There's definitely sort of like I'm literally seeing someone flipping on a light switch. And I think it has to do with you recognizing like just how amazing you are. And I know I am not trying to sound like I'm kissing your ass here, but like your cards are very good, Virgo. Sagittarius had a similar reading where I was kind of like, all right, so where's like the sticky point here? Like where does, what do I have to help them with essentially? Because right now these are confirmations that beautiful things are coming into you. I feel like I always want to mention the sign Aquarius with the star. And if it, maybe this has to do with an Aquarius in your life, perhaps. I know several couples actually who are Virgo and Aquarius, and it works. It's a very unusual kind of pairing when you read about it. But yeah, I mean, anyway, side note. When I do mention the Aquarian energy, though, and this isn't directed at you or anyone else per se, I just like to mention it, that a lot of time the Aquarian energy, it's like not always feeling like they're in the mainstream, or that they're it's sort of that like feeling like a weirdo, feeling like an outsider, and then they come to realize, well, that's their gift. Their unique perspective is that, they're not conformists by any means. They're not just going to do it because you're supposed to. It's like, it's an air sign. So what's the reasoning behind it? What's the logic? And that's where that kind of Virgo and Aquarian energy mixes, because they're both highly intellectual signs, right? And so maybe in partnership, maybe that was something that was lacking previously, is you didn't feel like you had a good back and forth. You didn't feel like you were on the same page mentally, intellectually. Maybe you didn't speak the same love language, so to say. So maybe there's something new that's coming in. Or maybe, if this is something coming back from the past, maybe with judgment, maybe you both have done a lot of self-growth and like you're ready for each other this time. Just putting it out there. This feels really beautiful. This feels really nice. I know I'm talking fast because that's just how I deliver my messages. But like when I'm reading these cards, I feel a sense of like peace and calm and like exhale. And like some sort of confirmation you get from the universe that you are enough and you've always been enough. And, by choosing your happiness, the universe is going to mirror that back to you. You're going to meet people who are in alignment with what you want, but also with where you're at. So maybe if you're looking back 5 years ago, maybe you weren't in a good spot. And maybe you're starting to realize, yeah, that makes sense why I was in that really unhealthy, toxic relationship. But I took it because it's all that I thought I deserved. Like there's new illumination here with the star that, this is a much bigger storyline than I think you were anticipating. Your narrative has grown. And maybe with Aquarian energy, it's taking like a shocking, unexpected turn or some sort of unusual development that's kind of changing the course of your destiny. I like this. I like this a lot. Maybe with another earth sign. I don't know why I'm getting that. I just am. Possibly another Virgo, a Taurus, or a Capricorn. Then you have 10 of Cups and 2 of Cups. Like this... I'm not purposely trying to make this a romantic connection. It might not be for some of you. I would challenge you to look at it, through the lens of multiple perspectives, if it fits, if it resonates, if it doesn't, leave it. But this kind of feels like connecting with someone, and it feels like a soul connection. It kind of feels like a game changer where, again, I said the same thing to Sag. It's like you don't have this kind of anticipatory nerves, butterflies, your mind darting all over the place. How do I act? What are they thinking? Did I sound stupid? It's like there's just this ease. It kind of feels like you've known them for years, even if you haven't. So if that's the case, maybe if this isn't an ex or a friend, a long-standing friend in your life, if it is truly someone new, I would offer that perhaps you guys knew each other in another lifetime, and it was like kind of like a personal mission for you to, grow individually, and then you kind of get the reward of having this, what feels like a very familiar, compatible, simpatico relationship with someone that you found, I'll say again, in this lifetime. Possibly someone who's into music or a musician or, I don't know, an artist or a creative of some kind. That could be you too as well. Possibly someone who works with children. And possibly someone who is from a different background. And I'm not necessarily going to define that, but, different religious background, ethnicity, fill in the blank. Someone who they maybe were brought up in a very different circumstance than you. And so you have a lot to offer to each other and a lot to learn about their upbringing experiences. And there is kind of like this nice little, you guys both bring something to the table and can balance each other out, and help to, I don't know if level the playing field is the right word, but what they lack, you have a lot of, and vice versa. So there's a nice little again, being able to learn and pull bits and parts from the other person and kind of enhance your quality of life too. I like that. I think that's really sweet. This feels like a relationship where if you are looking for something long-term, it could absolutely turn into that, but maybe it starts off slow. Maybe it just starts off with like a casual connection or a friendship, or, a happenstance where you meet this person and you happen to exchange numbers, or maybe you don't. Maybe you're able to look up their number, Facebook them, and then it just, I don't know, it's something that kind of develops organically. And I also think for you too, Virgo, you're not putting the pressure of expectation on this. You're not trying to make it something that it isn't. There's like this exhale of like, all right, what's meant to be will be. It's like, for some of you, I'm hearing this like, I'm just going to put my faith in the universe this time, rather than force something or, let that inner self-critic take a hold and make me insecure or block my blessings. It's like, I'm just going to put faith and trust in the universe because I've already gotten a confirmation that I'm doing something right. I feel that already. So I'm going to assume that for the relationship part, if that's speaking to any of you out there, the relationship part, it will fall into place similarly where you're not going to have to break your back to make this work. You don't have to put your blood, sweat, and tears into this. You have to put that kind of effort into yourself. And then again, everything will fall into place. Again, more soulmate energy, judgment. A lot of you are, it's funny, I just took off my rose quartz. I feel like maybe some of you are into crystals right now, or you're using stones that help heal the inner child, inner woundings, things from, and I've always heard this, I've read it consistently. You guys can confirm or deny that of all the zodiacs, Virgo children tend to have it the hardest. I don't know what it is. It's just something about the placement. And obviously that's not true for everyone. I don't say that as like to scare you. I've read it time and time again. And I mean, I can kind of see it with the Virgos that I've met. There's something that is very challenging about the Virgo dynamic and how they fit into the family. Anyway, what I'm getting at is some of you may be reading up on overcoming like childhood trauma, childhood abuse, learning to love your inner child, possibly using, crystal healing or some sort of therapy to kind of delve deeper into that in a more spiritual way. Rose quartz, Dalmatian jasper, unakite, what else can I tell you? Strawberry quartz, and maybe... is it Mangiano or Mangiano calcite, the pink stone? Anyway, something for self-love. I'm starting to learn about crystals myself, and I can't confirm or deny, but I feel like I've heard that those are good stones for that. But anyway, moving on. Yes, something may come back with a Capricorn. I think there was a Capricorn interested in you many moons ago, many years ago, but you weren't ready to accept that, or you didn't think that this person was going to... It's like they were so different that you couldn't wrap your head around what they could possibly bring to your life in a relationship. But I actually think this might be something that fits really well. Again, there's a good yin and yang. There's a good balance there. There could also be something with a Scorpio. Scorpio is a sign related to the past anyway. So it's not to say there couldn't be a new Scorpio coming into your life that's going to be a game changer. But yeah, for some of you, in terms of people coming back around again, possibly a Capricorn or a Scorpio, maybe an Aries. I'm not getting that as strong, or an Aquarius, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to put too much emphasis on the sign, because ultimately you're going to know it's right because it's going to feel right. You don't need to get caught up in the categories of things. And let's see. Yeah, some of you may be moving homes. Again, there's a huge message here about meeting people again after they've been through some sort of transformation, like a spiritual transformation, or maybe that's going to mean something else to you all. Sometimes I say things and the way I present them isn't always the way you interpret them, and that's how it's meant to be in some ways, right? Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes I say things, you're like, oh my God, that's totally my story. And I'm like, oh my God, I had no idea you even said that. So something about someone who's going through a transformation of some sort. Yeah, I do feel like there's someone in your life who's maybe always been a friend or a long-standing person, coworker, fill in the blank, who's always kind of been interested in you. And for some of you, you know who this is. And again, at the time you weren't ready to accept them in. Others of you, you didn't realize they had feelings for you because you weren't in a place to believe that you deserve that kind of love. And that's changing. There's a big, unexpected compatibility with someone here. I do think there's a Scorpio involved for a lot of you. And yeah, in theory, that makes a lot of sense to me. Also something about a pet, specifically a cat. I don't think it's a scary message. I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if that's a symbol or some important storyline with a cat recently. I don't know if there was like an epiphany there or some, sweet, silly story that you exchanged with someone, something about a cat. Maybe you're going to get a cat. Maybe you're going to, I don't know. I don't know what that is, but I'm being told to mention the cat. So anyway, I almost called you Scorpio. That's funny. Virgo, this seems lovely. This seems absolutely delightful. If this doesn't sound like your story, but it's something you're interested in, manifest it. If it's coming out in the cards, the energy is available to you. And don't be afraid to say no to something that disturbs your peace or it doesn't feel like it's in alignment with what you want and who you are. Again, if it's meant to be, it'll come back around and present it in a new way where maybe you will, give it the time of day, give it a second chance. But I would say be open and be open-minded. Be open-minded that sometimes people don't always present the way they actually are. And that's both negative and positive, right? If you're getting love bombed and you're like, this feels weird, but this person is, proposing marriage on date 3. If it disturbs your peace and you're kind of like, this is off, it probably is. But in the terms of don't judge a book by its cover, I wouldn't write someone off thinking, well, they have nothing to offer me. We're so different. Are you though? And sometimes those differences are actually what makes the difference in a relationship is being able to, have that back and forth and learn from each other. Today is a new day, and those who are brave are free. I love that. That sounds like a tattoo. Something about an arrow, a tattoo with an arrow, like an archer's arrow or something. Maybe that's like Sagittarius season. I don't know what that is. I feel like I've mentioned Sag in your reading a lot too, so putting it out there, that might mean something to you. We know what we are, but we know not what we may be. Love that. All right, last but not least, let's get a card for you. These are just random keywords, something Virgo needs to hear. Ethics, living and governing my behavior by moral principles of rightness and goodness, to have the discipline to demonstrate moral character. Maybe that's something you need to be looking for in a partner, or maybe that's something you're leaning into more than ever. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. Happy holidays if you're celebrating. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and do check out the collective reading at the end of this video. There will be a timestamp down below. What's good, Sagittarius people? Let's see what the tarot wants to tell you for the coming weeks. Happy holidays to those who are celebrating. Ooh, 9 of Cups, good way to start. Gemini started with that exact same cards. Sag, are you kidding me? 9 of Cups to the 10 of Cups. Someone looks happy. It's good. Keep the vibe high. King of Cups, you're crushing it. And the Knight of Pentacles. All right. All right. I'll take one more of each. All right, cool. Let's do it. So, I love the symmetry here. It just looks pretty to me. So 9 of Cups to the 10 of Cups, wish fulfillment and being in a state of gratitude. Very likely something to do with family and, friends of the family you choose, right? It doesn't have to be family by blood, but something very celebratory. Putting energy and effort into something that you see value in and that, with Cups, it pulls you in emotionally. There's an emotional tie, an emotional connection, reason to celebrate something. I feel like you're sharing very good news with, again, your squad, your family, your tribe, your friends, your coworkers, or vice versa. Someone in your life is celebrating a really big milestone. For some of you, it's like a personal thing like sobriety. For some of you, it's like a raise. For some of you, your family's moving. For some of you, your siblings are having a family or pregnant or, there's something like big news to celebrate. And to me, there's some message here about, my goodness, you've been patient. It's like you almost have this, not anxiety in terms of like beating yourself up. It's kind of like this eager, anxious, like, I know my time is coming. I know I'm due for something good. And like, I sense it and I feel it, but I don't see it yet. Some of you start to see the manifestation of a long-term goal project. Again, good news coming into you. Very likely around the holidays, maybe around the new year. For some of you, it's going to be the month of February. It's going to be very important, especially Aquarius season. So just keep that in mind. Then you have the King of Cups to the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, for some of you, I sense a raise or a promotion, or some new change in title, more authority, more leadership, you being a supervisor of sorts, and possibly taking in mentors. Some of you may be intrigued by the idea of starting a family or adopting a child or pursuing something in teaching where you would be, molding young minds or education. Something about like it doesn't have to be literal, guys, but something about an apprenticeship. Like you've come such a long way and you have a lot to share. So you may be mentoring or coaching or, maybe it's just community stuff, volunteer stuff, Boys and Girls Club type things where you're offering your time, but it's like, with all this high energy cups, like you have some of the best cup energy, emotions, feelings, intuitions, psychic abilities, sensitivities, compassions. You have so much of that to give. You know that there's other people around you in your network who could benefit from that. And so I see you giving of yourself very selflessly. But that being said, for some of you, there's actually a good paycheck involved. But what I love is like, that's not why you're doing it. You're doing it because it's like your own morals and ethics, and you have a very specific vision of how you want to give back. And like, God, I love this energy, Sag. It feels very Sagittarian, like the best version of Sag. Like optimism. The world is our oyster. Let's make it a good one. I feel like the coming year, you're going to be like ringing in good luck. Something about that bell. It's really like, it's calling out to me. So I don't know, maybe some of you are pursuing something in music or making some sort of art, making some sort of, or undertaking some sort of creative endeavor. I see some of you singing in your car. And I don't know what that is. I mean, obviously we all do that. That's not like a profound message of any type, but there's some, I don't know if it's a song that comes on the radio that's very symbolic. It's like you hear your song or you hear something that reminds you of something in your life that is very precious, very sacred, very likely sentimental, very, Piscean watery energy over here. You may hear a song that reminds you of your person or your grandmother or your childhood, middle school on the playground, that type of but there's something, it like pumps you up, it amps you up, it feels like a confirmation from a higher power that you're on the right path. Some of you may feel the urge to reach out to someone from your past. There's judgment. I was gonna say, I feel like this is calling back to the past, but I don't have those cards yet. But yes, I do. I have judgment. So 9 of Pentacles. Okay. Some of you are going to reach out to someone not knowing if they are single or married or dating or whatever, because you're kind of interested in them. And again, there's some sort of memory that is sparked or spawned, or it could even be like a Facebook memory. But for a lot of you, it's like an auditory, is that the right word? It's like you hear something and it makes you think of someone. It's like you hear a stranger in the mall when you're shopping and it reminds you of that person's voice, or you read something and it reminds you of that person's humor, or I don't know. But anyway, you reach out to somebody wondering if they're still single. And for a lot of you, the answer is 9 of Pentacles. And you're literally like, yes, like they're not taken off the market yet. Like I think you're riding the high of some personal accomplishment and it's making you extra, what is the word? Extra confident or extra bold, where you're willing to kind of roll the dice and put yourself out there and see if the person that you're interested in, I'm saying, is still available because of judgment. So it's possible you never dated them, but it could be someone who's already kind of in your network or in your circle. It could have been your primary school crush and you guys interact on Facebook every now and then. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to see what's up. Like a lot of you, I'm getting Facebook for some reason. It's like you like message them on what is it called? Messenger, or I know not all of you are on social media, but you get my gist. There's something like memories, yesteryear. It feels so, Christmassy and sentimental and like thinking about the people in your life. And like, it's kind of friggin' adorable, Sag. I can't lie. So let's see. Some of you have a sibling who has or is struggling with some sort of personal issue. It could be that they're going through a divorce or they're struggling with sobriety or something like that. They are making progress, and I think you're starting to see that. And again, there's just this very much like, I'm so proud of you. Like you're able to say that to them. And I have a feeling for a lot of you, it's a sibling that you haven't always had the easiest relationship with. I think there may have been resentment or jealousy or feeling like they were the golden child, or vice versa. They may have very much been the outcast of the family and always felt deeply insecure and maybe jealous of you. But in some circumstance, you guys are able to come together and there's like a mutual acknowledgement of like, yeah, like I love you and like I want you to be well and like I support you and let me know what you need. And like, I know, I'm sorry, this is sounding like a Hallmark movie, but like that like actually touched me because it feels very like deep and profound and like a conversation that has had to happen for a long time. It just gets more and more cheesy, Sag, if you're willing to go with me down this road. And I feel like when that happens, either physically your parents are able to witness it and there's like this peace and calm that comes that you guys are like, able to connect in that way, or it's almost like your ancestors or guardian angels. It's like they're sounding the bell because it's like there's something that needed to be analyzed or looked at, or a connection that needed repairment. And I'm not saying it happens overnight, but there's a moment where you guys come together and there's a mutual sense of like wanting to invest in each other and in the future. And that feels really good. That feels really sweet and sentimental. Like it kind of feels like, an exhale, and with that there may be some like releasing of tears, because it's like been this long held pent up, like I feel like I can't relax around you, and all of a sudden there's like this, we're not competing against each other, we're supporting each other. And maybe that happens in a romantic partnership. I'm getting more siblings for what I just said, but you know, these messages may work for you in several areas in your life, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Let's see, let me throw a little bit more on this. Some of you are asked to like officiate a wedding, or I don't know what this is, but some of you are asked to step up into a role where you have to like give a speech or a presentation, or you kind of get to take the mic for a minute or be the center of attention. And it feels very good. I think you're pretending like it's no big deal and you're kind of humble about it. But at the same time, there's a part, like the little kid in you is like, this is going to be so friggin' cool. I can't wait. Like this feels so good. Like you have King of Cups exterior, very like Scorpio, very cool, very mysterious, yada, yada, yada. But then underneath you're just like, yippity skippity, this is the best day of my life. Oh my God, this is the best reading. I'm so happy we're ending it on a good note for you this year, Sag. It's been a ride, hasn't it? What else do I need to tell Sagittarius? Yeah, I see you breaking bread with siblings or an old friend. If it's not a sibling, it could be a friend that you kind of fell out with. Again, very likely a friend who had issues with sobriety or addictions, or possibly was in a toxic relationship and you felt like you had to distance yourself from them because they weren't involved with someone who was vibing high. Something about that comes together at the holidays, even in a small way, right? Again, it doesn't have to be a Cinderella story, but it's like there's a nice little moment you have with someone from your past. Some of you may get gifted some sort of vacation, or there may be discussion of a vacation that you're going to save for in the future. Although I don't know how much you're saving for, because I actually feel like you're buying tickets for some sort of travel destination or vacation or resort or something like that. It's not for several months. Like you're definitely booking the tickets in advance, but it's something you're really looking forward to. And for some of you, it may even have to do with like health and self-improvement and wellness. Like it could be like a wellness retreat. Or metaphorically, it could be like something that you're going to benefit from spiritually. Like if you're going on a vacation and like, you know, you're so excited to like ride horses on the beach. It's like, do you know what I mean? There's something like being in, among animals and in like a very earthy, chill, by the water, that type of naturey environment. It's going to be very cathartic and healthy. And again, like a lot of reflecting. I just did a Gemini reading where that was a major theme, is like reflecting on just how far you've come, where you've been, where you want to go, but being present and grateful for where you are now. And like, I don't question that. Your cards here are like beaming with gratitude. I'm used to reading cards that are more challenging, like, okay, how can I help you, Sag? What do we have to work through this week? But like, your cards look really nice. So I guess, take heart knowing that if you are going through a hard time now, things look like they're going to get much, much better. And maybe that's a reminder to like, take it a day at a time. Energy is going to come and go. Everything is always changing and in flux. So as much as we love these happy moments, we can't hold on to them forever. We have to let things and energies and people come and go in our life, knowing and having faith that things are going to work out the way they're supposed to. I don't even know what else to pull cards on. This just feels so nice. I just heard, tell me about the person of the past. Do we want to talk about judgment a little bit? I do think judgment in itself, it can have multiple meanings, and sometimes it's like the literal ho-hum meaning of like being less judgmental. That's not always the case, but I think especially in terms of this dynamic of a relationship that was challenging you, I think there's an ability to see this person as they are and not necessarily as the villain anymore. Especially, and this may involve a Capricorn in some way, or someone who has a strong Capricorn in their chart. May also have to do with a parent, especially releasing anger or resentment, or feeling betrayed by a parent, like they weren't there for you. I think you're working on that. For some of you, that's a work in progress. In terms of reconnecting with someone from the past, yeah, so that's a double message. Very interesting. I don't know if you can see that because it's so tiny. But you know, the devil card, yes. That guy appears twice. Like in this card, he's in the background. I don't know if you guys can see that because my camera doesn't focus super well, but like, and look, Two of Cups. Isn't that so interesting? So something that you were holding on to was impacting your ability to open up in romantic relationships. Yes, in other relationships too, but specifically in romance. So I'm talking to those Sages who are like in a relationship but not necessarily super happy, or wanting to fix the relationship they're in, or single and still looking. It's like some sort of very likely tied to family, siblings, parents, etc. Where the lack of love you received or the lack of support system you had probably made you very self-reliant, probably was in survival mode quite a bit as a child, and you just kind of took that on as a lifelong burden, not recognizing that, hey, things probably could have and should have been better for you. What I like is that you haven't necessarily been drowning in that. It's always been a part of you and in your life, but you've made really good on your ability to go out into the world and make things, you know, the world is your oyster. You've been able to kind of push that aside and be like, you know what, like this is my life to live. I'm not going to let that hold me back. Yet at the same time, I think there was something always inside you that needed to be acknowledged and needed to be healed. And there's an opportunity to, I think you've already been working on that a little bit, but I think there's an opportunity that really is like a game changer in terms of opening something up and actually being able to like let it go. Have you seen those like there's like some picture you see, it's like it's much more painful to try and hold on to something than to just release it, even if it means a lot to you. And I think that's what this is. It was doing more damage by holding on to it, whereas giving yourself that freedom to let it go and release it out and, you know, cathartically work through it, release those pent up, you know, anger, emotions, sadness, whatever it is, resentment, guilt, judgment. You start to let that go and it opens up your world to make healthier connections. That it's almost like there was what is a good word? You were blocking your blessings with the Seven of Wands. It's almost like you kind of looked as relationships or at something as it's going to be a fight, like a fight to the death. Like it's not going to come in easily. I really have to work at it. And in reality, that wasn't true. There was something about yourself that you had to recognize. And I don't know how else to explain it, but when you do, when you release that fear, that's devil energy, right? Fear, keeping ourselves stuck, believing in something that we've outgrown, not wanting to acknowledge the areas in which we need to work on things. Again, very likely tied to family. When we start to like stare that demon in the face, that ghost, you know, get the skeletons out of the closet, it's like we can exhale a little bit. It's not as scary when we're able to look at it, because then we can form a game plan on what we're going to do with it, on how we're going to move forward. And like literally under that is the Two of Cups. So some of you just need to hear, like, the relationship thing is going to happen for you. And it's not to say it hasn't, but for those who don't feel like they're necessarily in the healthiest relationship, or maybe you've met people, but you just don't feel anything, that's going to change. Saying goodbye to old ghosts. Something very, very whimsical and childlike and juvenile. Again, volunteering your time. Maybe that's how you meet somebody. I'm not really sure. Maybe you meet somebody who works with children. A Knight of Swords. Yeah, we're doing a lot of decluttering. We're cutting out, we're calling ourselves on our own bullshit, right? But we're also cutting out things we don't need. And it's almost like we're not approaching things as, I hope this makes sense to some of you because it's a little bit clunky to me, this message, but it's almost like looking at love relationships in terms of like being on the battlefield. Cue the Pat Benatar song, right? Love is a battlefield. It doesn't have to be. And I feel like the next relationship that comes in, there's like an ease and a peace that comes with it. It's not this constant questioning yourself and second guessing things and having that kind of like nervous, chaotic energy. Even the butterflies, like, yes, to some extent that's cute, but I think when you're with the right person and your soul recognizes this like connection, there's just like I feel good. Like I'm not worried. I'm not super nervous because this feels right. This feels good. And I think some of you haven't experienced that. It's almost like you were under this false belief that relationships are always going to be kind of like this nervous, oh my God, do I have to commit? Oh my God, what does this person want from me? What are the expectations here? Can I fulfill their expectations? Can they fulfill mine? Like there's very much like Knight of Swords, like 1,000 thoughts all at once. In this next relationship, it's like there isn't that like, what is a good word for it? Expectation. There's just like we can just get rid of that. We can just release it. I like that. And so maybe some of you are going to revisit a relationship from the past, possibly, because you're operating at a higher level of self-love and having compassion for yourself, maybe for others. Something that it offers more peace to your life. And I think that's very key, Sag. You want to be with people and immerse yourself in energies that bring you peace. If you're around people who are chaotic or full of drama, that's only going to, seep into your life. And vice versa, right? If you feel like you're in amongst chaos, I mean, you are going to attract relationships that mirror things back to you, right? So when you're operating at a high vibe, good place, that's what's going to come in for you. Absolutely, yeah. Love it. From Knight of Swords to the Knight of Cups, it's more dreamy. It's a little bit more relaxed. It's much more emotionally in tune with the room, with the vibe. There's like a psychic connection. There's like a soul connection here. Possibly water signs, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. You do have a King of Cups. So ultimately, though, to me, the sign doesn't really matter. It's about finding a connection. And maybe this is not a romantic relationship read for you, Sag. Take what resonates, but finding a connection that feels right for you, where you don't second guess it. I love this. This feels so happy. Happy, happy. Sagittarius. Your dreams can come true. One more for Sagittarius. Diamonds are coal who handled pressure well. That is perfect. I love that. I'm going to put that next to the devil card. Because the devil is necessary, right? A lot of people look at that card and cringe, but it's like we all have that. We all have that shadow side where we do feel unlovable or undeserving. And some people conquer that demon far earlier in life, and other people, they carry it around with them, quite literally like on their back, for a long time. But at some point, most people in this lifetime are going to be like, I don't know if I need this guy anymore. Like, it served me in some sense, right? It's protected me from doing things that were dangerous or this or that, but it's also kept me in my shell. It's kept me from not exploring myself or relationships or building the ultimate life that I want to live. And that's where this 9 of Cups and 10 of Cups comes in. It's like, I think I deserve more. Like, I know I'm ready for more, and like, I'm happy now, but there's things that I want to accomplish. And to get there, I have to do sort of some digging of myself. And again, like cutting out what I no longer need. You've evolved. You're a different person now. Understanding. To have mental, emotional, and physical grasp on something. The ability to perceive, view, comprehend, interpret, perceive the intended meaning, be sympathetically aware, have insight and good judgment, or to know about a subject or situation on a mental, emotional, and physical level. And it's both, right? I don't want to hate on the Knight of Swords. He serves a purpose too, but not in that like frantic, chaotic, oh my God, what's happening energy, which, you can get into, right? It's a Gemini card, and Sagittarius by nature, that's your opposition. So there's something beautiful you can learn about the Gemini energy, but there's also something that's going to challenge you. And that's that like nervous, frantic, mercurial, thinking 1,000 things at once. Like, we have to balance it with kind of like the more spiritual side of Sag, right? The Jupiter energy, which Pisces also shares with you, right? I love that. All right, happy holidays to those who are celebrating. Thanks for joining me, guys. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and check out the collective oracle reading at the end of this video. It is time-stamped. And I'll see you soon for more tarot. Bye, Sag. Take care. Hello, Pisces people. Welcome to your tarot reading. Let's see what the cards have to tell you for the next couple weeks or so. For my Pisces gang out there, my lovely Pisces. Oh my gosh, 9 of Pentacles to the 2 of Cups. You're not going to be single very much longer, Pisces. We'll see if that makes sense for any of you. Maybe it's it could be a business connection as well, right? We'll see. 10 of Pentacles, crushing it. I have to say, so far, all my mutable signs, so everybody in this video here, you guys have had really lovely readings, so I'm hoping the same for you, Pisces. Let's see. All right, let's do it. So bottom of the deck, every single sign has gotten this in the video. No joke. The 9 of Cups. Your wishes are coming true. This is a wish fulfillment card. Something that you've been working on and manifesting, it's starting to align for you. And because it's Cups, Pisces, this is a Pisces card. It's Mars in Pisces. I believe it's Mars in Pisces. Now I'm second guessing it. No, it's Jupiter. Is it Jupiter? Yeah, it's Jupiter in Pisces. So even better, right? The growth and expansion of your dreams and wishes and long-term plans and goals, but the emotional fulfillment, the emotional satisfaction that you're feeling, this feels very content to me. It just feels like, I know the universe is working its magic for me, so I'm going to put faith and trust that things are going to work out. Because they are, clearly. Yeah, Nine of Pentacles to the Two of Cups. For those who are interested in romantic partnership, it's here, possibly with a Virgo. I don't know why I get that. I just do. Maybe Aquarius as well. This feels like a really good start to a relationship where you are going into it knowing your self-worth and value and not trying to dim your light in order to fit into this person's idea of what they need you to be, or vice versa, trying to fit into a box of what you think this person needs you to be. It's showing up as yourself and recognizing, like Venus and Virgo, having self-love, practicing self-love. If you're not coming at it from a place like that, yeah, it's going to get delayed or it's going to get messed up. But this seems like it's off to a really good start where both people have some solid footing. It's funny, I heard solidarity, which is obviously not what I was trying to say with like solid footing, but I don't know why that word's coming up. Maybe that's more meaningful to some of you out there. But yeah, something here is coming together. Maybe it's a friendship, maybe it's a business connection. You know, you can view it through a different lens, but this feels effing incredible. I really like that. Probably new-ish with the Two of Cups. Maybe you're reuniting with old friends, but I don't know. My gut instinct says that this is romantic. And not everything has to be here, but like I call it as I see it. That feels very romantic to me. Something about a cabin or camping too. I don't really know what to do with that. Maybe that's just a hobby that you guys share in common. You both love going camping. Maybe it's someone you meet on some sort of expedition or adventure, or I don't know, like log cabin, camping, cottage. I don't know what that is, but you know, maybe that'll make sense in the future. Just putting it out there. It's like little confirmations. So then Six of Pentacles and Judgment. Yeah, you get what you give. And I feel like that can be a confusing message, because I feel like in the past, a lot of you Pisces are looking back romantically and being like, I gave it my all. But again, that's where there's that contradiction of, yes, you were giving your all, but you were giving too much. You were giving yourself away and not getting that in return. So I think you guys you had to learn the hard way, right? And not just you, every sign. But I think there's something here where you had to learn the hard way that by investing all your energy in someone who's giving you back crickets, or, you know, one-word text, or again, just not meeting you halfway, I think you're starting to learn it's not worth the time and the investment. All I can do is show up as me and be the best version of myself. And ultimately, if they don't like me or if they reject me for it, then it's like, I'm going to release it. It's not my person. Here, there's a good match. The Six of Pentacles, it's reciprocity. You get what you give. I just heard the name Mia, M-I-A, or I don't know, maybe that means something else. I have no idea why I just heard that. I just heard Mia. I have no reference for that. It makes me think of Uma Thurman, and isn't her name Mia in one of those movies? I don't know. And the Tarantino one, I can't think of the name of it. I never hear names, but I just heard names. So anyway, and maybe those initials are meaningful, M-I-A. Or maybe someone went MIA, and is that why Judgment's here? I don't know. I'm being silly. I'm half reading into that. Judgment is something from the past, usually coming back so that you can tie up loose ends. I think these are two different messages, but they are related. I also think there may be someone coming back from your past, right? Mercury's in retrograde. It's happening in Capricorn, which by default it's a sign that has compatibility with Piscean energy, that earth-water thing. Someone may come out of the woodwork from the past, and I think you have to do a little bit of work and research and be really analytical to see if you both have truly changed and have room for each other in your lives, or if you've done the work and you're ready, but come to find out that when you meet up with them again, they're kind of the same person they always were, in which case I think you kind of take the role or the position of authority to be like, sorry, I just don't have room for this. And I think there's a peace of mind knowing that you didn't have prior. It's sort of like the idea of wish fulfillment and like manifesting, an ex back. You can do that. It doesn't frequently turn out well. And for some of you, I could see it going either way. I do think someone's going to come back. And for some of you, maybe they've done the work and they've changed and they're operating at a higher vibrational level. Others of you, you're changed. And so you're able to see with more clarity, they're just not my person. I thought I wanted them back, but it's like we don't complement each other in the way, or we don't challenge each other in a healthy way. It's like, I'm not sure how to phrase it, but I don't think they trigger you the way they used to in terms of like, why can't I make these puzzle pieces fit? Like, I want us to be together and we can't. Now you're starting to understand why. And it's like, it was never meant to be. And there's peace of mind that comes back. And we don't always get closure. We don't always get conclusions. But for some of you, I think having this last little And it may happen concurrently while you're in a new relationship. You may hear from an ex. And so for that reason, I don't think you're tempted at all, because you so clearly see and can envision what you want the future to look like with this person, that by the time this one comes back, if I'm being honest, I don't think they're operating at your level. I don't think there would be a compatibility there. You can consider it, you can contemplate it, you can question it, but I think what you feel is so real with this person that you're already like, yeah, this is my person. Like, maybe not now, maybe not in 2 years, but yeah, like I feel like I want to build a future with them. It's almost like I feel like I'm going to make the history books with this one. So like, I can't waste my time and energy on someone who didn't see potential in me in the first place and still really doesn't show up the way I need them to. There's a tremendous amount of growth here, Pisces. Yeah, I see a lot of Virgo energy here. Maybe something with a Cancer as well. Yeah, we'll see. Let's keep going. Something with a grandfather is coming through, especially for those who are in a place where they're no longer with, or let me rephrase that. If you have a grandparent who has passed away and you had a fairly close relationship with them, I feel like, in a sense, they're sort of a guardian angel or a mentor for you, especially around the holidays. There might be, reminiscing about relatives and stories and, things that happen in the family. There's some significant story about a grandfather that was very profound and impactful to you, or something they said to you once, or you may find an object or a momentum and like it finds you at just the right time and gives you some sort of confirmation about what you were thinking or feeling here. I'm sorry this kind of turned into a relationship reading, but like I have to go where the cards kind of tell me to, and that's what I'm sensing here. The Star is about, again, long-term wish fulfillment and dreams coming true. I think for you guys, this card has to do with self-love. I'm seeing the traditional depiction of the Star, which is like, the naked woman who's half on land, 1 foot in water, and, she's feeding the channels with water. It's very Aquarian energy, right? The water bearer. With that, there's the ability or the need really to be ultimately truthful about who you are and your identity and bare your soul and be vulnerable. And again, love me or hate me, this is who I am. There's like an embracing of, in order to enjoy my life path, right? In this lifetime, you have to acknowledge the need for self-love and putting yourself first and prioritizing yourself. And not just for Pisces, for many signs, that can be tremendously difficult. But the irony is, when you start to focus more on self-love, that's when you start, finding people out in the world who want to be in relationships with you. It really is, yeah, that's important with the Star card here. You need to be the star in your sky. And it's not to say you're going to be single forever. Like, that's most certainly not the case. But yeah, when you practice self-love and you show the universe that my happiness is important and then I deserve to be happy, and not only make it a future thing, understanding like happiness is a choice, and if I want to be happy right now, damn it, I'm gonna be. The universe is like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing there, and they're gonna send gifts along the way, mentors, people, whatever it is, life lessons along the way. When they know that you're operating at a higher level and that you can take it, you're ready for the next big challenge. For a lot of you, the next big quote unquote challenge is not going to be a hard one. It's going to be navigating maybe the unfamiliar territory of being in a relationship that's actually healthy. If anything, I think you're going to connect with someone who's really there to love and support you. It's yourself having those maybe moments of self-doubt where you're replaying past narratives. This person is still going to hold space and be like, it's okay. I know you didn't mean to react that way. Like, it's cool. Like, they don't have this expectation of who you're supposed to be. So this feels like a really good relationship, whether it's long-term or not, where you can really do a lot of self-discovery and exploring of who are you in a relationship? What does that look like for you as a person when you're in a relationship, Pisces? For some of you, you already know who this is about because you've already found your person. For a lot of you too, there could be like wedding bells in the near future. Maybe some of you are going to be proposed to. I could see that happening as well. And that could be kind of like this end to the singlehood. So even if you are in a relationship, do you know what I mean? Or again, view this however you want. If it resonates, maybe this is you being accepted into, the school of your dreams, or getting a position in that company that you've been, idolizing, or whatever. There's a nice little match and a good energy exchange here. And huge potential for growth. And I am going to say you have fantastic cards. It's not to say it doesn't come without challenge, right? This is a Saturn card. I believe it's Saturn in Taurus. So Taurus is the farmer. It's the sign of the land and the prosperity and the growth and the money and the bank account and the value, the self-worth. With Saturn, there's going to be obstacles and challenges, but it's going to make you stronger. You're going to come out stronger and wiser on the other end. You are going to be the master of whatever this challenge is. And I think the key is finding a person that gives you the space to allow you to work through those challenges. Yes, together, but also independently. This idea of going into a relationship where like, I'm not going to try and fix you. I can't fix you. That's up to you. But it doesn't mean I can't support you and cheer you on along the way. Pisces, I'm digging your reading. I hope you are too. I hope I'm doing it justice, but this feels incredible. It really does. And then King of Swords and the Six of Swords. Yeah, your outlook is going to start to change. I think this is so ridiculous and totally ruins like the sentiment of what I was saying, but like I just heard the future's so bright, I gotta wear shades. The universe likes to make me laugh. Like that's what it is when I relay messages. But I do kind of mean that though. It's like something here is so different and like drastically different from what you've experienced before. It opens your mind up to think that like maybe it doesn't always have to be this way, or maybe a relationship can work like this and I don't have to sacrifice my sanity. Maybe I don't have to overgive and make myself exhausted in order to have the job of my dreams. Maybe I don't have to prove myself to anyone. Like it's that type of energy where it's like, oh, this is a game changer. And again, this double Aquarian energy, sure, maybe this has to do with an Aquarius, maybe that's strong in your chart. But with this, it's like getting comfortable being the outsider, knowing that it's not always about winning the popularity contest, because ultimately, what does that do, right? Not needing the approval and the support of others, as long as you're living your life authentically and doing right by you. I think a lot of you are going to take the road less traveled. And I think your partner, romantic partner, whatever this is, I think very well will encourage that and support you. It's not going to be like, could you rearrange your life, please, to make this relationship work? It's like, okay, like you really want to move here. Like if we're in this together, maybe we can make that happen. Some of you may be moving at a distance or connect with someone who lives at a greater distance. I do feel like for some of you, I don't like to do scary messages. I'm not necessarily predicting this, but for some of you, the person you're with, they may have lost somebody who they were tremendously close with, like a family member. That might be this grandfather thing. Could also be a parent. You may be helping them go through old trinkets and memories and boxes or cleaning out a house like an estate sale. I'm not sure how that factors into this, but I do sense this idea of, I think it's like a wake-up call and a recognition that time is fleeting and like, we have no reason not to put our best effort and intention into this, and what will be will be. Rather than fretting and worrying about, oh, did I say the wrong thing or whatever. It's like, I don't know, a big reality check in the life of your partner or someone you're dealing with, a friend. It impacts you in a way that is, it reminds you of what's important in life. That's what I'm trying to say. Possibly another water sign here, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. A lot of Aquarian energy too. I can't pretend it's not there. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Mean what you say. Mercury retrograde. Do your best to hold yourself accountable for the changes you say you're going to make. Really hold yourself accountable. Look at it as your responsibility to sort of yourself, your inner child, to nurture and protect that child, but also allow it to grow and become the person he or she or whoever is meant to be. Stick to your guns, but stick to your word in terms of good follow through. That's what I'm trying to say. Hold yourself accountable for good follow through for you, if not for everybody else, right? But primarily for you. Believe in yourself and you will be unstoppable. Oops. Kindness changes everything. It really does. I'm not worried about that for you, Pisces. I think it's knowing that will be mirrored back to you when the time is right. I mean, hopefully it's mirrored back to you all the time, because I think Pisces are tremendously kind, warm, sensitive people, but tend to attract people who are needy and don't always kind of have that good energy exchange with you. And then just a keyword for Pisces, let's see. Home, to have a place of belonging and comfort. I feel like home is changing for you, whether that's what you call family or quite physically like the location. Maybe moving into a new home, apartment, yada, yada, yada. Maybe your parents are moving homes. Maybe your childhood home is being sold, whatever it is. Home is changing. Let's see, sorry. This doesn't necessarily have to be a house. It can be a feeling or a place, a person, or an experience with whom you feel completely comfortable, and someone or somewhere that you can always go to. To feel a sense of comfort, belonging, security, and happiness that relates to or that happens inside the place where I and potentially the people I love reside. That is a mouthful. That makes me think of Cancerian energy too. Cancers rule the house and home, fourth house stuff. Anyway. All right, Pisces, that's what I got for you. This feels incredible. If this isn't your story yet and you want it to be, manifest it. If it's coming out in the cards, it is available to you. Look at all these wish fulfillment cards you have. Like, it's awesome. I'm loving it. Like, share, subscribe, and do check out the collective reading, which is going to play right now. Hey guys, what's up? Let's get a collective oracle message for Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. We'll give this a couple shuffles. All right. What is something that my mutable sign gang, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces need to hear for the coming months? Some wisdom or advice or guidance for them. All right. Dear you, you are in such good shape right now that we're all doing a happy dance. In this moment, you have the power to make a choice to get with spirit and co-create a miracle. You may wonder where this is all going, but if you want to manifest your desires for the highest good, you need to stay focused on the now. All power is in the present moment. Ask yourself what are your dominant thoughts right now? What beliefs are you motivated by? Do you have clarity right now? How is your conscious contact with the divine? Are you plugged in, or are you trying to do life all by your small self? Get rid of negative energy now. Resentments be gone. Forgiveness and love enter. You can do your life beautifully and create your most powerful future right here, right now, in this moment. Aren't you thrilled to know you have a huge cheering section over here? Love and hugs always. So these are messages from the spirit, from the divine. Hope that helped. Hope that was something you all needed to hear. Take care, guys. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you soon for more tarot. Bye.